turn every skill and qualification
In the job
into
description.
into an interview answer, I think you said?
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. That's a good tip, guys. I hope you guys are writing that one down. That sounds like a good tip.
I've been at this a while, Dennis.
Yeah, appreciate that. All right, so Michael, Michael, is that a repeat question? I think it's a different question. So Michael is asking, how do you ensure that HR analytics initiatives are aligned with the company's overall business strategy? Can you provide an example of a business decision that was significantly influenced by insights or influenced by HR analytics?
Like I said, the one I would go back to is the B of A example. When I was the co-chair for Diversity Council,
Okay.
we had looked and it was like we started with the okay, what's the spread between B1 and B9, which B of A did a really great job of flattening the org back then. And so we only had 9 pay bands. So it was, so B9 is your entry level, B1 was the CEO and his directs. And so we started with real simple, what's the distribution? And, in those entry level jobs, like I said, we had no diversity issues. You could see, in, like I said, in some of the entry levels, call center, for example, some markets we had 65% diversity. It was great. Where it flipped was once you got to B4, which at B of A was department head. And then it just kind of, and when you got to the first 3 bands, B1, 2, 3, I mean, the numbers were so few, you could almost guess who the people were in the role because it was so few. So we started there. That was HR analytics, but basic, nothing major. But what we did was we shared those results and said, Bank of America prided itself on, where there was an ongoing high potential list, and we said, well, let's take a look at those. Let's see how well represented our minorities are. And, so we actually put in programs, to infuse the high potential development programs to make sure they represented the numbers we wanted to see at the actual leadership level. But then we actually took the extra step and did a corporate initiative to pump more diversity by identifying people and putting in a formal mentorship program. And we tracked the numbers. And inside of 2 years, we started to see a difference in the distribution. So we didn't just do it and say, okay, we're done. We actually tracked
Nice.
that the actions we took were having an improvement. Now, when you start talking about careers and diversity and jobs, promotions and stuff don't happen quickly. So you have to track it over a series. Um, but then the other thing we also were tracking was employee engagement. How were employees feeling? Because, I think when people feel invested in and valued, that they behave differently. So, I mean, there was lots of good that came out of that.
Okay, great. Great. Thank you for that. Um, some really great feedback in the chat here, Lynn. Patrick says, thank you so much for the advice and the positive attitude. Good luck to you on your own hunt.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Ahab says, Miss Lynn dropping gems. Thanks a lot. Uh, My, Michael says, big gems. Leo says, absolutely great guest. So that's great. Let me go
That
down. This is
means
a
Den- that means Dennis will invite me back again. It'll all be good, guys.
That's exactly what it means. Ahab has a great question here. So Ahab asks, there is a lot of recruitment slash HR myths online. I would like to know maybe the biggest ones you saw, like recruiters who filter out resumes are non-tech people, systems do all the filtering automatically, so on and so on. So, Lynn, could you share like what is your number one like top tip that people think about recruiters that may not be true or about the process? What do you think? What's a big myth out there?
I think, quite frankly, depends on again. This goes back to the I don't let other people's obnoxious thoughts enter my thought line. But I've heard it all. I mean, if you go on LinkedIn, based on some of the posts, which, oh, by the way, I don't care how crappy you personally feel about your recruiting process you may be living. Can I just give you some advice? Please don't post any of that crap. I don't care. I don't care if you're ready to kill a recruiter. Please don't post that on LinkedIn. That stuff lives forever.
Yeah,
And not for nothing, most recruiters are going to go look at your LinkedIn profile
yeah,
first
for sure.
if you have one. So that's my first bit of advice. Don't put that crap out there.